What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wondered which tech items are actually worth investing for the long haul? Well, in today's video, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the gear that stood the test of time in my very own setup. So this won't be your typical setup tour. Instead of showcasing the latest and greatest tech items and gadgets, I wanted this video to highlight the tech I've used for at least 2 years, with the exception of one item, without feeling the need to replace. So these are items that have consistently performed day after day and have proven to be well worth the money. And speaking of money, everything I show you today was purchased with my own money. There's no sponsors for the video. Everything I have to say is from my own personal experience. So with that being said, let's kick things off with the foundation of every single setup out there, and that is the desk itself. So this here is the Uplift V2 standing desk with a 72-inch bamboo desktop, which ended up being the perfect size for me as it lets me comfortably fit dual monitors, my laptop, desktop speakers, and my PC without feeling too crowded. The desk itself comes with a few notable features as well. For starters, it supports a massive 355-pound weight capacity, so unless you're putting your squat rack on top of this desk, you should have no issue lifting anything. There's also this programmable keypad that stores things like my daily seated position, the position to tuck my chair underneath with its armrests, and my standing position. On top of that, there's also tons of options when it comes to making this desk how you want it, most of which can be customized directly from the Uplift website. So that pretty much sums up the desk itself. There's really not a lot that needs to go into a desk. It needs to hold your setup, it needs to accommodate maybe a little bit of expansion, and it needs to look somewhat decent to do all of that, and this does all of that for me. So the next one is going to go hand in hand with the desk, and that is the chair. So this chair right here is the Herman Miller Embody, and it's one of the best chairs I have ever sat in. So the first time I actually sat in a Herman Miller Embody was back in 2015 in one of my first jobs right after college. I'm not sure how this chair ended up in my office, but I know I liked it so much back then even that I went home, I looked it up online, I wanted to put it in my desk setup at my apartment. But once I saw the price, it ended up going to the back of my mind because these chairs are not cheap. But fast forward to 2022 when I had a Secret Labs Titan chair, I started getting sciatica that was pretty dang bad. It was starting to wake me up at night. I couldn't walk, and it all came down to the chair because over the weekends, my sciatica would get a little bit better. So I'm really glad that I spent a little bit more money on a chair because since I've had this chair, I have not had sciatica again. So a little tip on top of that as well, if you have a nearby authorized reseller, you can work with them to customize it to get options you wouldn't normally get online. So like this one here, I got an extended height cylinder because I'm a little bit taller. I wanted to have a chair that could have a better height up and down. So I was able to add that on. And on top of adding those additional features, I was also able to save around 40%. So overall, it was a win-win situation for me. I was able to save 40% on the total cost, and I had achieved the dream chair 2015 me had always wanted. Now next up we have the desktop speakers, and these here are the Vanatune Transparent Zeros, and they're some of the best sounding speakers I've come across for their surprisingly compact size. The woofer itself is a 4-inch aluminum cone that is paired with a 1-inch soft dome tweeter, and there is also a 4-inch passive radiator on the top. This combination allows for a frequency response range of 52 Hz to 20,000 Hz, which is actually quite impressive for their size. So there are a ton more features, but before I show you, let's just take a listen so you can hear for yourself. All right, so we have our copyright-free music right here. We can play this as long as we want, as loud as we want, and I built this little thing here. So I'm gonna use these wireless microphones because I'm gonna have a right side and a left side to hopefully simulate the human head and give you guys a better example of what these speakers actually sound like. So I'm gonna hook one right here, and then the other one is going to be right here. And we're just going to start at like volume 1, and then I'll slowly ramp it up until we're all the way up. So let's go ahead and press play. So that is volume level 1. And now I'll just go to half, show you what half sounds like. And now we're going to go all the way. So these things are just so impressive for being a 4-inch speaker. I just can't believe how loud they actually get considering their size. They're so small and it sounds so good. So this is the top of the main control speaker, and we can see a little volume knob here as well as these little indicators for 1, 2, and 3. And if we flip it over, these actually work with VTMB and pair and programming. So if you want to control this as a flat mode or a bookshelf mode, there are tons of different options you can get into and pair. There's a pretty nice menu that explains all of that as well. As for inputs, we have DC power in, we have our connection for our other speaker. We also have USB audio, analog audio, and optical audio, as well as Bluetooth aptX, so you can have high resolution Bluetooth audio coming to the speaker. And for our output, we do have a subwoofer output right here that does have a built-in crossover. So if you do plug a speaker into this or a subwoofer into this, it will go ahead and adjust the crossover so you take less load on the speaker and pass that over to your subwoofer. And to top it all off, you get this nice little remote for additional control and convenience. Now next up here, we have my two 4K LG LCD monitors. This one's at 32 and this one is a 27. Both of them are mounted to my desk with an Amazon Basics stand. Really nothing fancy, but they cover everything I want in a monitor for my setup. The resolution is great for editing. The color accuracy is also really good. 99% sRGB on this one. You might be able to tell color difference between these two. It also has USB-C on the back and two Type-A ports, which makes it nice to power on my Thunderbolt dock right here that's connected to my Mac. I can also toggle on HDR on this one. But when it is time to game on this right here, the extra screen real estate on the 32 is quite nice, but I would be lying if I said I haven't been tempted several times to get a large ultra-wide, especially one of the OLED ones, because they just look so dang good. But one of the hesitations I have, one, being the price, two, also OLED has burn-in that I still see a lot of reviews talk about, so maybe not today, maybe sometime. Who knows? We are now down to our last and final device, and this one is our one exception to the 2-year rule because it's not even a year old yet. I actually got this one for an early Christmas sale last year on Amazon, and that is this device right here. So this little device right here is the Amazon Echo Pop, and I never imagined this would become one of the favorite items in my entire setup, especially because it was only $18. So I initially bought this with the sole purpose of controlling the 4 Philips Hue light bulbs I have in my office here. Since it was an Alexa enabled device, it was pretty small. It actually looks really good sitting on a desk because it's not that big. I could walk in and say, Alexa, office lights on, Alexa, office lights white, Alexa, office lights orange, Alexa, office lights 20%, and she would go ahead and adjust the office lights to whatever I wanted. And that was really nice to have that control instead of just having it on and off or a dimmer switch, because I record my videos in here. So having a little bit more control over lighting is super nice. But over time, I started finding myself using Alexa more and more often for asking things about the weather, controlling my thermostat because I'm upstairs, it gets hot. I can set it to 70 degrees if I want to, wherever I want. And also we have a treadmill on that back wall, so I can go ahead and also sync the Bluetooth on this to the speakers on my desktop and get a little bit more sound when I'm walking on the treadmill. So there you guys have it, a list of tech items I would not hesitate to buy again. Let me know down in the comments, do you have any long-lasting tech recommendations for building out a solid setup? I'm sure everyone, including myself, would love to see it. And if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.